All right, cycling fans, Chico aficionados, bike racers, this is Tyler Janke of the Between Two Wheels podcast, joined by Curt Mills and Chris Flower. We just finished the Paskenta road race. Well, when I say just, I mean it was today. We're a little tired. Curt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Tyler.
Okay. Chris, how are you doing?
I am a wreck.
See, honesty. That's what I want from you, Curt. Why can't you be honest? You don't look like you're doing okay.
I'm also a wreck. I was trying to portray a positive image.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm also a wreck. Today was tough. Go around the room real quick. I want to ask a quick question, and we're going to do some results. We don't have interviews today. Maybe we should do that, but we shouldn't say that right out. But because we're a wreck, but tomorrow we have big plans to go out and get some interviews and post in the last day show. We're going to go over some results. We're going to talk about some things that we heard today.
To be fair, though, we had big plans today as well.
We had huge plans today. They got derailed by fatigue.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to ask both of you guys, and this is kind of for everybody too, and post something on our Facebook page, Between Two Wheels, of kind of your situation. But a few things. One, what did you do for clothing, and did it work out? I mean, because it was cold out there. So what was your layering situation, and did it work out for you, Chris?
I went with my standard Castelli bibs. I wore a short sleeve Perfetto Castelli jersey. Is
this a Castelli ad?
It might be. Well, let me get to the end and let you know how it worked.
Oh, okay.
And you decide if it's an ad. Over the Perfetto, I wore my team jersey. It's a Castelli Podio. And then I wore my team arm warmers. I think for the most part, it was a good fit. Toward the end of the day, I was starting to get a little too warm, though. And I think I would have been better served with just the jersey and a base layer. I think the Perfetto underneath was a little too much insulation for me.
So the question is, when did that happen? Because for me, I was getting a little warm too, but it was right when we were coming back into the gravel on the last time. And I was just like, you know what? For the most of the day, it was working out for me, whatever I did. And it was cold. So I was happy.
I was overheating probably around mile 15.
Okay, well you're okay. So
and no
Curt?
knee warmers because they were not necessary.
Okay, Curt, what about you?
Yeah, Chris runs hot. I actually wore the exact same thing as Chris did because he told me that's what he was going to wear at the beginning of the day, and I said that sounds like a great idea. And it was great. Honestly, it was fine for me. I run a little colder than Chris, and yeah, it was fine all day, to be honest.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Isn't that what you wore?
Yeah, I did a Perfetto vest thingy. I don't know. Nate had that, and I borrowed it, and with a base layer, jersey over the top, arm warmers, knee warmers. I actually put the Velotoes things on there, so my feet were nice and moist the whole time from sweat inside.
Right.
But I never had any problems, and it was warm on the last time. But other than that, what about wheels and tires? We talked a little bit about that earlier yesterday. What'd you guys run? I'll just say me real quick. I ran about 85 PSI in mine, and it was butter. It was awesome today. So the wheels, at least.
Yeah, I was on 202s, 25 millimeter tires with like 95 PSI.
Gotcha.
I used 25 mil tires, and I'm not entirely sure what my tire pressure was. I pumped them up to my desired pressure yesterday. They probably lost a few pounds overnight, which was more beneficial than anything. So no issues with flats, which is great.
Yeah, we all came through fine. Okay, so let's get to the results here. First, Chris, why don't you walk us through? I'm gonna call it someone's here. Cat 4-5 men.
So we're pulling these off of the One to Go event services page, livelinksresults.com. It doesn't look like the men's 4-5 is loading, so we're going to have to skip by them today, unfortunately. I'm sure everybody raced hard and had a great day, though.
Did they do one lap?
Correct.
45? Okay. Let's do the 35 plus 3-4 men.
So we'll do the top three for this field. In third place, we've got Jonas Kreen. Looks like he's with Team Swift. In second place, Joel Hammond with the Chico Cycling team. And the winner on the day for this field is Stephen Hubrick with the Don Chapin Monterey Bay Racing team.
Let's do the next one. 3-4-5 women's.
All right, we're loading that here real quick. Apologies. So in the women's 3-4-5, In third place, we have Courtney Parman with Mike's Bikes. In second place, Jamie Erickson with the Cyclesport Specialized team. And the winner is Jennifer Wilson with Team Razzle Dazzle.
All right. Congrats to everyone there. The Cat 3 men.
Yeah, so in the Cat 3 field, we've got Morgan Cole with SunPower Racing. In second place, David Ellis with History Net. I'm not too familiar with that team. And in first place, we've got Eric Sasse. No team listed here. Also of note, I think we covered this yesterday, Stefan Creason, who got third yesterday, got seventh today, still has no team listed next to his name.
And he's our teammate on Data Driven Athlete, so he did well. And word is he drove back to Sacramento to go to see a metal mariachi band.
Yeah,
so,
he likes to live vicariously.
Yeah, so he's got a full day and night. I don't know if he sleeps ever, but congrats on him. Okay, what did we just do? Okay, the Masters 55 plus men.
All right, so in this field, we'll do the top three. Third place was Chris Courtney, and he's with Oak Valley Community Bank. I think we've had his team on here for a discussion in the past. Second place, Brian McAndrews with Thirsty Bear, and first place was Joe Foster, also with Thirsty Bear, and we've had Thirsty Bear on the show as well. So yeah, kudos to them.
They get the between two wheels bump.
Yes.
Right. 35 plus 1, 2, 3. This is what race we did this today.
Yeah, so this was a pretty active race. We'll go top 5 on this one. So we've got Dan Bryant in 5th place with Pete's Coffee Racing. 4th place, Andrew Sargent from Evolution Racing Team. He traveled down here from Oregon, so kudos to him. 3rd place was Jonathan Baker for Touchstone Racing. 2nd place was Todd Markles from Team Mike's Bikes. And winner of the day is Scott Giles with Schnur Racing, and he's had a pretty big win with a minute-plus gap to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place guy. So well done.
Let's finish off the next two categories, but then come back and we'll talk about our race a little bit, and we can break some of this down. So the women P1, 2, 3.
Before we jump into that, I'm not sure we covered the men's 2 field, so I'll do that one really quickly.
Oh, right, I don't see that on the list.
So 5th place on that is Kyle Kirby with Swamis. 4th place was Drew Coggin with Subaru Santa Monica, SoCal team. 3rd place is Eric Schiller from SunPower Racing. 2nd place, Luke Lamperti from Team Swift. And in 1st place is Alvin Escajeda with Endo Concept Team. Well done, guys.
When you look through there, are there any time gaps? I mean, what did it look like kind of played out? Can you tell?
Let me take a look. I just closed the page.
I did not take a look at these. So
it looked like it was a very big group finish in the Cat 2 field. So from
top 24.
Yeah, no time gaps until 25th place, and even that was a 9-second gap, which means he was probably just off the back of that group.
Yeah. Okay. So women P1, 2, 3.
Yeah, let me get that loaded here. Make sure I'm not looking at the hotspot finish here. So women's P1, 2, 3 race. We've got, we'll go top 5 here. Heidi Franz from Rally Cycling in 5th place. Ali Dragoo from 2020, PB Show Air. In 3rd place, we've got Hannah Mug, and she's with DNA Cycling Team. 2nd place, Summer Moak from Rally Cycling. If I recall, she won yesterday. And in 1st place, Sarah Bergen, also with Rally Cycling. So well done there on their part.
And so we're going to do the P1, 2 men here, but then maybe, Curt, you stayed and watched the women's race yesterday, so maybe you give us a little highlight of that one. And anyway, let's do the P1 men, sorry.
Yeah, we were still racing when this race finished, so I'm going to try and infer some race dynamics from results here. And it looks like it was a pretty big group finish. I think we were looking at, again, maybe 25 guys coming to the line together. So nice big field sprint there. So top 5 in that is Taylor Warren with the 303 Project. I think they're a Colorado-based team.
Yes.
4th place, Chris Reichert with Team Mike's Bikes. In 3rd place, we've got Alex Hone from Avolo Cycling. 2nd place is Gavin Murray with Mark Pro Cycling, and the winner for the day was Quentin Kirby, also with Mark Pro Cycling. So well done to Mark Pro for getting 1-2 in that field.
And I saw Willie after the finish, and I talked to him real briefly, and I'm trying to remember. Sorry if I'm getting some of this wrong, but it sounded like there was a breakaway off, and he did a lot of chasing, or his team, and him, he said as well, up until I think the gravel section on the last lap where they caught him. And so We'll have to get more information on exactly what I did see on Mike's Bikes. Chris Reichert posted a little video, and I didn't get to actually hear what he had to say, but he did a little breakdown of the race. So you can maybe go to that, and maybe we'll share it from our page as well, so we get a little insight as to what happened. So yeah, they had a pretty big field there, and I talked to Sam Boardman yesterday, and he's still in that front group. So I didn't see what the GC was, but
and I see that, not to interject too much, but Cam Bronstein also finished in that lead group, coming in 22nd place, same time. So they're doing a good job keeping their guys up in the front.
Yeah, it's really impressive. They had, top 27, and I'll take that back, 23 all at the same time. So pretty good size field there as well. Curt, why don't you give us a little rundown? As you saw the women's race yesterday, and you did post a little video on our Facebook page, giving them some love, so to speak. So why don't you give us a little breakdown of what you saw?
Yeah, so that race, there was really one big attack by a rally rider that got 30 seconds, probably around 30 minutes into that race. It was a 90-minute race. She was able to hold on to that till about 5 to go, I would say. UHC 2020, some of the other teams were just trying to pull that back throughout that period. Around 5 to go, they were able to get it back. There were some attacks that went probably until about 2 to go. And it seemed like that field kind of conceded to the fact that it was going to be a field sprint at that point, and it ended up just like that. There was a field sprint coming into the last lap, and Rally, I think, took first and third with a UHC rider ending up in second. So we had left, we raced earlier in the day. Was the wind more of a factor? Did you notice? Was it about the same? It looked still sunny. So I don't think the wind was much of a factor. There was a point where it seemed like it got a little bit colder, and maybe there was some precipitation, but I don't think any of it probably played a factor in the race at all.
All right. Well, congrats to everyone there. Okay. What do we have? The P1. Okay, let's talk about our Masters race today. So we did 90 miles. I mean, we talk about our personal experience. I mean, otherwise, what the F are we doing here, right? Talk about something. 90 miles today. It was cold this morning, like I said, so we dressed appropriately. And first lap, nothing really happened up until the gravel, right? No, that's not correct. Chris, why don't you take us? You were on the front a lot, so.
Yeah, I severely overestimated my fitness today and took it upon myself to be stupidly active, chasing every move, initiating one or two of my own, and I severely paid the price in the first run through the gravel, and unfortunately got popped off like 100 yards before the finish. Thankfully, Curt here pulled me out of the grave and I think dragged me good 20 plus miles of the next lap to kind of keep me alive and not just pull off into the parking lot. So overall, the race looked like there was a lot of action early on. Nothing really got away. I think we all came into the gravel in one big group. There were a few moves that got a few seconds up the road at times, but it was pretty clear that nobody's that excited to let anything go. Actually, I take that back completely.
Yeah, there you go.
Jay Newton,
yeah,
he launched an attack, I think, right at about the right-hand turn. Maybe somewhere around there.
It was actually after the second right-hand turn on the backside of the course, probably at around mile 20. There had been a few attacks, and then he took off, and the group gave him a little bit of a leash, and he took full advantage, and he was obviously riding really, really well, because I want to say he got 30, 40, maybe more than that at one point.
He was a good way he was out of sight for quite a bit.
I think what I remember is we got a time check of about a minute 40.
Oh, wow.
Was about the biggest thing. So we're then cruising through the gravel, and look, you want to settle the debate on the bombed out section or the gravel.
I think yesterday we had some, quote, insider information, unquote, from folks that had ridden it the day before, and they reported back that it was great, it was smooth, it was going to be speedy, and I think there were a couple of sections that were, really fast and smooth, and there were sections where it was extremely deep, and then there were sections where there was some pretty significant washboarded areas where if you weren't holding on to your bars really well, you were going to be coming off your bike.
And what about that bombed out section before? Do you think that was more determinative than the gravel? Let's settle this now.
So
I'm tired. I can't pay attention.
So to reset, I was in favor of the gravel having been the harder, more decisive section of the race, and Chris had sided with it being the 2 mile bombed out section. Well, today I almost crashed out in that bombed out section.
Yes.
And I got really, really lucky, bounced off a guy's wheel, and was able to stay up. So I almost agree with Chris a little bit more because it actually changed my race in that I lost a decent position. But from what I heard, and I think the gravel is still the more decisive portion for the majority of the field. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely hard out there.
The problem with the bombed out section is it's supposed to be asphalt, right? It's supposed to, and then there's just holes everywhere. So when you're riding in the gravel, the worst you really have to contend with is all of a sudden there's some thick gravel and then the terrain itself. So, you're just riding on someone's wheel, you're not expecting a giant pothole at some point. And I think that's the problem with the bombed out section. But with that said, it doesn't split the field nearly as bad as the gravel. So
it doesn't, but yeah, like Curt said, if you're not careful, it can make or break your day. I was finding myself dodging a lot of either bottles or potholes, or guys realizing there was a pothole in front of them in the last second and they kind of changed their line. I ended up fading a little further back into the field, which put me on the back foot going into the gravel. So
I think some guys learned from Snelling and just ran through bottles. I saw a little bit more of that today, of just kind of like, hey, I'm not gonna cause a mass wreck like the P12 field did at Snelling. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I still swerved around him.
Oh, you're the asshole that did that. So we go into the gravel, and about halfway through, all of a sudden I see Jay Newton on the side of the road waving his wheel. And so he flatted out of the break that was coming there. We just keep torquing through the gravel. From my perspective, I'm with our leader this weekend, Travis. He's pushing this huge gear, and I'm thinking, it's up to climb, and he's standing up out of the saddle. And we're right up at the front, and I'm thinking, is this a new technique? Maybe you put it in a big gear and you just kind of stand up and it helped. So I tried it real quick and it didn't. So I shifted back. Lo and behold, his something happened. His shifter kind of tweaked and his DI2 came done. And front and back he was stuck in the 52.14. We'll get kind of what happened with him. So we cleared out the gravel. There's maybe, I think Todd Markel's, I want to say maybe Michael Claudio, and another guy were kind of up the road. So Josh DePiece for Touchstone kind of drilled it on the front up that climb up the feed zone, and we all just came together. And then there was more regrouping. So you guys were chasing on, I know, but I'll just give a breakdown kind of what I saw from the rest of the way. So we go through Paskenta, turn the corner, and it's kind of lull, and the person in the yellow jersey, Mike Sayers, just attacks. Goes off the front solo and no one reacts. And so he's just dangling like 30 seconds up the road for several miles going up that stretch. I mean, I want to say get to halfway up there, maybe a third of the way, so 6-7 miles. And we're just kind of rolling a pace. And as soon as he gets caught, Scott Giles of Team Schnur, there's our winner, attacks. So he attacks from that halfway up point on the west, heading east before you turn the corner. And he got a gap and it just kept growing and growing. And I think at one point it was up to 3 minutes, and no teams, they're Pete's, Touchstone. They weren't interested in trying to bring it back. They're kind of like trying to call each other's bluff, and nothing happened. My job there was just, I told Travis, I'm like, look, you have a 14. You just made it through the gravel with the front group. You can do it again. Let's give it a shot. So we were just trying to keep it all together. We hit the gravel again. And as we're going through the gravel section, I want to say in the first third, all of a sudden I see yellow jersey go down. And I don't know what happened, but Sayers went down. So the yellow jersey's out. Scott Giles ends up holding on for the win. And as we just went through the results there, the second place guy, Todd Markel's at 1:03 back. Our guy, Travis, making it through the gravel, ended up 7th place at 1:44. So kudos to him for 52-14. 52-14. Yeah.
That's impressive, yeah.
All right. So what do we got tomorrow? Curt, Chris, is your thing for tomorrow. The first one, at least.
It might be my thing if I wasn't completely exhausted. But yeah, we start off with the time trial bright and early and in the frigid cold again, unfortunately. I think it's going to be high 30s for the start of the morning time trials. So a nice little flat 10-mile out and back, or kind of horseshoe shaped time trial.
And you're basically wearing just like actual body paint on there. tape your extremities and go.
That's
right?
what we're doing after this.
Yeah, we're getting. You've seen
Team
those.
project.
You've seen those like swimsuit editions where they just actually are painted on. That's what Chris is doing tomorrow. Then we have the crit in the afternoon a little bit later, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. There's some teams. I just want to Sayers. So he loses a bunch of time today. He's not in the lead, and obviously he's a guy that does well in this crit. He's won it, so it'll be interesting to see how his aggression is during the race in the crit itself, playing off of the team. So if they have a GC guy, any predictions on the Masters 35, since that's kind of our wheelhouse on the time trial?
For the time trial overall?
Well, time trial, and then that might set the overall. I mean, Scott Giles is likely going to win this. He obviously, unless he just, is too stroked out from the day. I mean, he's
I would have to, something terrible would have to happen.
And when I say
wish that on,
I mean that in the sense that you have like a mini heart attack.
He's a pretty solid time trialer, so I don't anticipate him losing enough time in the TT.
He seemed like he did pretty well today.
Yeah, I did talk to him afterwards as well, and he was pretty funny about saying how he went through all 9 lives at one point on the gravel, and he's like, I needed all 3 minutes and I barely had it. I think he got a 10-second time bonus, so he was under a minute, but I think that's how he got over there.
I think for the TT, I would look to either Dan Bryant or possibly Claudio. He's been putting in a ton of work, as he told us yesterday.
He's in 8th place, 148 back. And Jeremy Cautel, 10th place at 148. He's obviously very good at that discipline as well. And you said Andrew Sargent of Evolution Racing. He's in 4th, or when I say 4th, the place, I don't know what the GC is here, but he was 4th on the day, so he's obviously right up front too.
Yeah, from what I recall, looking at his results last year, the year before, he put up a pretty good TT in the 45 plus field. So
all right,
he's got some potential.
Anything else from either one of you on your thoughts and
I'm
views
just
of the
exhausted.
day?
I think Curt starts his TT 1 minute after me. I'm just really hoping he doesn't catch me.
He's Mercksing it. He took the Merckx method.
So I'm really hoping he doesn't catch me.
And you're decked out in your body paint.
It's gonna be green. He's going out tonight.
Yeah, watch out. By the way, if you maybe a little late here, but a little crazy downtown right now. So
yeah, Chico celebrates St. Patrick's Day quite heartily.
All right, so exactly. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Congratulations for everyone who finished and stayed upright. I hope there was not too many spills and problems today. Last words?
Good luck to everybody tomorrow. I look forward to the crit. I don't really care about the time trial, but the crit should be a lot of fun downtown tomorrow. Question
of the day. Let's do this real quick. Is Curt going to be time cut on the on the time trial?
I think the results won't be in quickly enough to time cut me.
Are you kidding? These results have been so fast this weekend.
I'm also hoping that they just don't check my number.
They had my results before I finished today.
I can pay a $20 fine if I just wear a vest at the start of the crit, and I think I'll be okay.
Swap some numbers. Okay, so last week, anything for you, Chris?
I don't have much. I just hope everybody has a nice, safe crit tomorrow. It's a great course, and hopefully everybody enjoys it.
All right, so look for us out there, and maybe we'll talk to some cool people as well. Take care. Thanks.
See you.